All right, are you guys ready? Can you hear me well? Is there any static or anything before I start this? If you guys could let me out. No. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Lori. Hey, Tammy. Hi, Tina. How is everyone? Can you guys hear me really well? It's not too loud. Sounds good. Thank you, Tina. Mm, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start. Here we go. I'm probably off the screen. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, here we go. My hair is all messy. I don't understand why it was 70 degrees today. It needed to be 60. That's still too hot for me. I need it to be 62 at the most high, right? So, um, yeah, that's why my hair is like this. It needs to be really cold right now. So, welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am at Simply Cindy. I am a psychic medium. I have lots of tools in my basket. Astrology is one of my passions. Uh, because I'm a psychic medium, I don't see it as separate from me. But I do hypnosis and I do meditation and I do tarot and I do astrology and I do healing. I do herbs. I do all kinds of stuff. So there we go. Hey everyone, how are you? So, welcome if you've never been here before. Please get to know these wonderful souls in here. I was going to say women, but there's men in here too. So, um, please get to know them. It is a time for bonding. It is a time for us to grow. Tonight we are going to be talking about how we know it is time for us to grow as a group, how groups are going to be forming, how society is going to be changing. I have decided to tackle the transiting Pluto tonight. I'm doing a Pluto series. Started it. When did I start it? In February, I think, somewhere through there. And then Pluto did its thing because Pluto is heavy in my chart, which means those of you that are like around my age, Pluto's heavy in your chart too. So, um, some people may feel it more. Anyway, I started the series. I have not finished the series. I will. It's a really deep series. So like because I'm a medium and I'm psychic, I'm like feeling all this stuff and sensing all this stuff and seeing all this stuff and channeling all this stuff. So it takes a lot out of me. Anyway, so um, I'm going to. Sorry, I'm going to. Sorry about that. It was up too high. So, anyway, I decided to go ahead and do the transiting Pluto in honor of Pluto turning direct on the 12th. And so we are at the 8th right now. So on the 12th, Pluto is going to be turning direct. Now, the reason it's so important for those who don't know much astrology, I will try to break it down. Most of this crew already knows because I'm a medium, I see it from a very different perspective, a very unique perspective. These planets talk to me because I'm a translator. That's what I do, right? To me, they have characters. To me, they are characters and they have personalities. Okay, so um, it's not a. It's hard to explain. I was gonna say it's not a language that we have. It's a language. It's just not our language, right? Anyway, so but that goes into a whole other thing about mediumship. So I won't explain that. But I wanted to kind of go over. So this may take a minute. Please bear with me. I'm going to be channeling. I want to do the best when I'm working with Pluto because he's so transformative, because he's such a generational and it's a bigger aspect. It takes a lot, and I don't want to like rush through it, right? And so, even though they're transits, I want to kind of. My goal is I kind of want to see what because it's the ending of Capricorn. We are moving into Aquarius, so I want you guys to, all of us, to sort of understand what this ending was. What did we learn? What did we transform? What were we obsessed about? What did we have fear in? What was the power struggle? And did we step into it? right? But then I want us to go into where we're going, and that's going to be different for everyone. The same on a generational thing, but on a personal level, it may hit you in a different area. Does that make sense? So I'm going to do my best tonight to bring that all together. I appreciate each of you saying hello, each of you coming in, each of you showing up. We have a couple of Kathys. We have Cindy, we have Lori, we have Catherine, we have Tammy. Who am I missing? Tina. So hello, everyone. Thank you for coming in. I know a lot of you have already done like some major transformation and ending that Capricorn. And the reason I say this is because you've not only done coffee time with me, but you've also done hypnosis with me, and we've been really closing that stuff out, really helping you understand. We're doing herbs together, so I know a lot of you. This will be sort of, yeah, this will be like you're looking back, or you're looking on it and saying, yeah, I was there and I'm here now, and I'm excited for the future, right? So, yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for everybody to get in. You look beautiful, sister. Is that to me? Thank you. Because there's so many sisters here. Thank you. If that was to me. If it wasn't to me, oops. Kiki Law. Gracious greetings. Hi, Kiki. How are you? Welcome. I hope everyone's doing okay. We have these emotional trines that we were talking about for the month of October. Y'all have already seen weathermen crying. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but there was a weatherman that was crying because his emotions were like, oh, he was overwhelmed and overloaded because of, I'm sure he's tired. He's talking about Florida, and that's his home, and so we're going to see some of that this month. I already said it's going to be, things are being brought up. And it's a trine. So I'm going to stick to the trine bringing in a gift. That's what a trine does. It's an emotional trine. So is the emotion going to be relief? Is the emotion going to be anger? Is the emotion going to be peace? Is the emotion going to be elation? What's the emotion going to be for you, right? Cindy said, yes, saw that. Yeah, so a lot of emotions going on. We talked about this Mars in Cancer, but you can watch my other lives. You can watch my other videos to see what I'm talking about for the monthly. And what I'm doing right now is I've been going over each of the planets and kind of checking in, because I think it was in February. It was either in February or March, but it may have been February or March, where I said we have got a planet going retrograde over every month until February, right? And so we are in the thick of it, thick of it. That is a lot of revamping, revision, redoing, all the re's, right? And so, and it's not just in one area of our life, it's in a lot of areas of our life, because each planet is having you look at something again, right? Yesterday we went over Jupiter, and it's about to turn, where is it? So here, Jupiter is about to turn retrograde. This is the 12th. I have it on the 12th. Today's the 8th. But tomorrow it's going to turn retrograde. And so I went over that, right? We have Uranus retrograde. We have Chiron retrograde. We have Neptune retrograde. We have Saturn retrograde. We have, where is it? Oh, that's it for now. So, well, like that's it. That's enough. Those are like big planets. Those are big things in our life, right? And so on October 12th, right after Jupiter goes retrograde, Pluto is going to go direct. Pluto is a heavy, transformative planet. He is very important because he has been in Capricorn. He went into Capricorn in 2008, right? He is now finishing up, and he's a slow moving planet. That's why we call him a generational planet. And what he's trying to do is transform you. He, just like Uranus, Uranus is about freedom. Uranus wants you to have your freedom. Uranus wants you to be a rebel. That's Uranus. That's what Uranus helps you with. Pluto wants transformation. Pluto needs you to transform. So he will put a whole bunch of, and this has to do with other lives, past, future, and present, a whole bunch of psychological BS on you so that you will step into your power and transform. He wants you to understand your power. He wants you to have transformation. He wants you to stop carrying the baggage that you've carried for lifetimes. Now, whether you come in and you're in that generational line, you're here to transform that, and it may have something to do in connection with your other lives too, right? So, Pluto to me, is very prominent. Pluto is in my 7th house with a lot of with 4 other planets. So there's a stellium in there, right? So he's very prominent, has always been very prominent in my life. So on the 12th, I just want to make sure I've talked enough about what he's about, right? So what he does, and I've explained it to him, and also in the description of this live, I have my Pluto series. So I have the playlist. So I would advise you to go through all of that, look at that. There's a lot of good information about Pluto. He's not one to be missed. He's not one to not look at. Because what he does, he will take your power away so that you understand your power, take it back, stand in it, and never have it gone again. The way he does this is he will cause you fear and obsession, right? So he will put fear in you. He will take things away from you so that you understand. And it depends on each house and where he's at. And that sign also has to do with the way that he's going to express. It kind of gives us a clue as to what we're trying to transform, right? So the example is he has been in Capricorn since 2008. What happened in 2008? We had a crisis, right? The money, the housing bubble. This has to do with systems. This has to do with authority figures. This has to do with very Capricorn themes that we have been dealing with for the last, 15, 16 years since he was in 2008, right? We are at the last degree, which is Pluto saying, okay, you guys have seen what I've taken away. What have you feared? Houses were lost. Things were lost. People were lost. What did you decide to, in your systems? You see the truth about the healthcare system, the government, the banking system, the school system, you name it. We've been looking at systems, right? And if we as a society have chosen not to move forward with it, it doesn't mean like some of us decided not to. It's the society. It's on a societal level. It will come down. There are truths. Capricorn is about the truth too, right? I mean, people don't think of him that way, but that's Capricorn too. He's the authority. He is ruled by Saturn. He will test you, right? So Pluto has been saying to Capricorn at the end, that's 29 degrees, that he was retrograde. Let's look at this one part again. Let's look at, I'll give you the example. Let's look at Diddy's case again. Let's look at the school system again. Let's look at how the government handles, like the thing in North Carolina. Let's look at that again. Let's look at what it's doing over in Ukraine again. Let's look at like it's how it's showing us, right? It's giving us fear. He will give us fear because we as humans, you can only be afraid for so long before you pick up your sword and like, fuck that. I don't feel the same way anymore. I'm going to do something about it. That's how Pluto works, right? And so he's saying, I'm showing all this stuff to you. I'm about to move into Aquarius, and I need to know from a societal level what you guys are deciding to take into this new energy in Aquarius, because that's where we're going to grow over the next 20 years in groups, so that we figure out, in Capricorn, we've already figured out, or we haven't figured out because it's not finished with Capricorn, but we're about figuring out not to lean too much on government, not to lean too much on the healthcare system, not to lean too much on the school system. We have decided on a societal level, looks to me, so my observation is on a societal level, we have decided that we're going to keep those systems, the healthcare, the school system, the government, the banking system. It looks to me, but it's not done. On this day, it looks to me like we're deciding to keep those systems, those truths are coming out about those systems, so that we can move it into Aquarius and change it. And we're trying to figure out how to change it, right? Again, it's a big movement because it's a societal movement. Everybody in the society, right, has part of their energy in it. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? So, you Capricorns, because Pluto was in your first house, I mean, I know that if you are a Capricorn rising, you had identity crisis, right? Who am I? What is this? Why am I even here? What's going on? You know, all of that. You had 15, 16 years that you've been dealing with this. You had things taken away, people taken away, systems taken away. What you once thought you wanted in a system, it was taken away, and you realized that you had more power than you thought, right? This is Capricorn. Capricorn has been having to deal with this for 16 years, right? Where at the end, Capricorn is no longer afraid. Capricorn is understanding who they are, right? Capricorn has been transformed. Now, not everybody wants transformation. Not everybody will do transformation on a personal level, but on a societal level, we will do it. Does that make sense? So, does everybody kind of understand Pluto? You have to go look at my videos to really get like a deeper understanding. But I kind of want to go over where we're going and how it could play out, right? And then I will go over each house. So if you happen, we'll kind of look at it. So on October 12th, it is turning direct. Everything we were having to redo, rethink, reassess, revise, read all the re's, right? It went retrograde at 2 degrees and 6 minutes in Aquarius, okay? Now, from 0 degrees to 2 degrees and 6 minutes in Aquarius, that was energy we had never seen. That's why things were looking a little weird. Things were looking, because it's Aquarius, right? But it was feeling strange. It's like not comfortable. You're like standing there like, what is society about? This is so weird, right? Because that is energy in this lifetime that we've never been in, okay? Then it retrograded on May 2nd at 2 degrees and 6 minutes in Aquarius. So it's almost like Pluto went in there. He said, okay, Aqua, because Aquarius let him have a room this time, and he was like, I'm just going to show you, let's show them what's possible. Let's give them some ideas about how we want to do this on a societal level, about how we want to do this with not leaning too much on systems, about how we want to grow these systems that we're taking. Let's show them the possibilities of about how people can work in groups and still have their anonymity. Let's show them the Aquarian way. Just a little bit, because Aquarius doesn't want to show you a lot. Aquarius likes to keep their weirdness to themselves, right? Not because, a lot of reason is because Aquarius doesn't feel like humanity can take it, right? They're like, it's too out of the box. They're going to think I'm crazy, or they're just not going to like me for it. So, on May 2nd, after Aqua and Pluto showed us some possibility. It wasn't even all possibilities, just some possibilities where we could possibly go, right? Let's show them AI. Let's show them how people can have connections with AI. Let's show them how they can have some romance with AI. Let's show them how we can work with AI and how it can be easy. Let's show them how we can stand up together when we see some injustice. Let's show them how, like they were showing us, Aqua and Pluto were showing us, okay? Then on May 2nd, it went retrograde. So Pluto's like, okay, now that we've shown them Aqua, now let's revisit it. Let's see what they like. Let's see what they're going to stand up for. Let's see where they're at, right? He's talking about society. He's like, let's see where they're, thank you, Lori. He's like, let's see where they're at. Let's see what they like. Let's see what they want to pick up. Let's see where their consciousness is. Let's see where they're focused, right? So he was doing that May 2nd, right? And that was at 2 degrees and 6 minutes, right? And then he went back into Capricorn because he was like, okay, Aqua, I got to go. Now that we've shown them some possibilities, I got to go finish up in Capricorn because I need Capricorn to tell us what systems we're keeping, which ones we're going to transform, which ones we're going to release, which ones are going to fall, right? And so Pluto went back into Capricorn, right? And he has been at the 29th degree, which is a critical degree. That's what's called a critical degree in astrology. It's the ending. It's the finishing up, right? But it wasn't any new information. It was all of these things were going to be shown to us, and then we decide it's going to break down or it's going to transform, right? It's going to break down or it's going to adjust a little so that we can decide whether we are going to take it with us into Aquarian energy. Does that make sense? So we have been in that. Things have come up. Things have popped back up. We were looking at that. We see that we do as a society want to stay strong together and not divided. During this whole time, where I talked about Jupiter, this group was formed, right? This group stands together. There are other groups standing together, but we still have we have mutual respect for each other. It's just like what's going on in North Carolina and what's going to be going on in Florida if it hits Florida, right? If the hurricane hits Florida, everybody's respecting, everybody's keeping their anonymity. There's all these little groups forming, and they're like, no, I'm going to go help the people since the system, the big, heavy government system, is not helping. So we're all kind of seeing what this big government system is about, and it's going to transform. On a societal level, we have decided, so far, this is what I'm seeing, we do need some sort of structure, right? So some sort of government, but we don't know what that's going to be yet. We're going to go into Aquarian energy and figure that out, right? Just like school. Is education appropriate for our society? Yes, but is that education system appropriate for our society? Probably not. So we're taking it into the Aquarian energy and we're going to be growing that. Does that make sense? Okay. Does all that make sense to everybody? That's kind of where we're at on October 12th. It's no more revisiting. It's no more rethinking. It's no more redoing. It's no more of that. October 12th, we are forward in energy. We've already made our decision. Pluto's already figured it's almost like Pluto's like, yeah, I know what y'all want. I know exactly what y'all want. Okay. And again, the way Pluto transforms us is he will take our power. He will take your power so that you grab it back and stand in it. He will give you, I mean, he will make you obsessed about certain things so that you get all sides of the situation. He will bring a lot of fear. So, and again, if that means taking people, which is why I said, as soon as he goes back into Capricorn, we're going to see a lot of deaths. We're going to be seeing a lot of deaths right now, right? We've already seen a lot of death. That's just one of the aspects, though. Okay. So, October 12th, we're going forward, right? Now we are going to be dealing with Capricorn themes, finishing up, deciding. So all those things that needed to fall, all the systems that we don't want anymore, those are going to be gone. And I'm not talking about if you don't want it personally. I'm talking about on a societal level if we've decided that we don't want that anymore, right? Like I want to say like the IRS, like the taxes. Have we decided? Are we seeing where our taxes are going? Do we understand where our taxes go? Do we even in the school system? Are we seeing what's happening there? Do we want schooling, but do we want the option to homeschool easier, or do we want to have every child in the system, right? Like all of this we're going to be dealing with. Now, up until November 20th, because November 20th, right? And this is just Pluto I'm talking about. We have all these other things going on, right? There's a big story here to be told. So it will be in Capricorn. Hold on a second. Until November 20th. Hold on. Okay. Now it's going into Aquarius on November 20th. So from October 12th and even before then, because energy does not stop and start. It kind of flows, right? So on October 12th, it's already started, but we have Capricorn themes going on. We have Pluto having us look again because he's about to turn retrograde, and that's when all the stuff starts happening. Like I know stuff is happening, but that's when the lines are like drawn. That makes sense with the systems, with authority. Who's going to have the authority? Are we leaning too much on authority? All of that's going to be coming about, right? Then November 20th, he moves into Aquarius. Now, again, we had never been in 0 degree Aquarius to 2 degrees in 6 minute Aquarius, but now we have. So we're going to start seeing on November 20th when those themes are going to be coming up. AI's coming up. Groups going together coming up. Groups forming or groups bonding coming together, but keeping their respect, keeping their anonymity. Thinking outside of the box. New groups could be forming that are very forward thinking, but that are good for humanity because that is what Aquarian's about, right? After we will be dealing with that sort of thing from November 20th until February 2nd, 2025. February 2nd, 2025 is when we are in absolutely new energy that we have not been before in this lifetime, and it is Aquarius energy with Pluto. Now, during this time, remember, we've transformed, and we're in the middle of transforming with Capricorn now, but we are going to start in Aquarius, right? So on a societal level, what does Pluto do? He is going to bring about your fear, our fears. If we have a fear of lacking and not having enough food, guess what's going to come out in society? If we have a fear of lacking and not having enough resources and money, guess what's going to come about? Whatever our fears and our obsessions are, and our power plays, power struggles, powers are going to be taken away if we don't understand our power. Okay, This is why it's so important that I, back then, was saying, I need to do Pluto. I need people to understand powers can be taken from us until we fight and take it back. But we don't have to go through that. We don't. If you understand your power, if we understand that we stand together, we are united, and that is very powerful, then Pluto can't have that power play with us. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. This is why this is important. Okay. And from February 2nd on, it is going to get really, really, it can get really, I won't say it is going to. This is why I've been holding out too, of not saying, because it can possibly get really, really nasty with the systems, with people grouping together, with no longer accepting authority like we have. Does all that make sense? Okay? Now, does anybody have any questions about that part? Because then I'm going to go, after February 2nd, 2025, we are going to be in brand new territory. And that is when Pluto is like, I love you, but I got to show you that you have much more power than you think. So I'm about to take some stuff from you. I'm about to rain down some authority on you. I'm about to do some stuff like that, right? You're going to get tidbits from November 20th till February 2nd. So I want everybody paying attention. What's coming up? What are we seeing? What are we not seeing? What's Pluto trying to tell us? What's he trying to show us, right? Sending blessings, protection, and knowledge to all here. Absolutely. Thank you, Lori. Absolutely. But that's why I'm telling you guys now. Because we're going to be prepared. We've been prepared. We were prepared for all these retrogrades. Do you see that? Yes, some of you are really, really frustrated, and that has to do with whatever's in your chart. But for the most part, you guys are okay. You guys are like, yeah, I got this. She said that was going to happen. It was fine, right? Knowledge is power, and understanding when you see it in your life, as I'm talking about these things, makes it doesn't necessarily make it easier, but it gives you an understanding of less fear, because you're like, yeah, okay, I got this. I can do this, or I can do that, right? So I'm gonna take a break because I'm talking. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna drink both the coffee and my Dr. Pepper. I'm thirsty. Because it wasn't like hot, but it was warm today. 70 degrees is ridiculous in the autumn. No. It needs to be like 60, or it actually needs to be 50 something. But I'll accept 60. So, welcome everyone. I know that I've already said my intro, but for those of you that have never seen me, my name is Cindy. I am a psychic medium. I have a lot of tools in my basket. Astrology is something that I love. I have a passion for astrology. It's because my brain, I come from a medical background too, a science background. So it's like my brain wants to figure these things out. And when I can kind of see them and put two and two together, it's really cool for me. Anyway, the one, I wouldn't say it's a rule, but the one thing that we do like to be in here, I know this doesn't look like my PJs, but it is PJs. These are my PJs. We like to be in PJs. We like to have our coffee, our tea, our devil's lettuce, whatever you want to do. I just want you relaxed, okay? Relaxed, comfortable. The old school system of sit at your desk and be so that you can learn we're not there. It's a place where you can learn, where you can grow, where you can bond. That's what this is. And you guys will learn a lot, right? By the way that I channel and they teach us, right? So we have a beautiful, cool, sunny days in Michigan. I know. I mean, 70 is not hot, but it's not cold. And I want it 50. And I'm like, we already are at October 8th. It needs to be like 60 right now. So, and it has been, it's just like a day here and a day there, well, it'll go up. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, stay down. I'm trying not to mess with the weather up here because I want to see the weather for the year. Because you guys know I just moved up here, what, 5 months ago now? So I kind of want to see what the weather does before I work with the weather. That makes sense. Warm days, cool nights in Canada. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, our nights are cool. They're like, I think 40, 48, 43, somewhere through there. I think they're both. I think one night was like 48, and that's still kind of warm. I want like 43. It's hot, hot, hot in Texas. I know. That's exactly why I'm not in Texas. Asheville ski area is becoming you, Cindy. Oh, are you saying Cindy me or Cindy Carlson? Because yeah, skiing, snow, I love. Cheers. I do coffee and cherry Pepsi. Do we have a lot of Geminis in here? Because us Geminis will do that. We'll have like two or three drinks and we'll be drinking both of them. We'll be drinking both of them or three of them actively. Like, you can say, which one do you want? We're like, we're drinking both. Why do we have to choose? Oh, I think I saw Alejandra in here. Alejandra, and who is the system built for? Is it built for teaching children or for keeping children busy while their parents work? Exactly. Exactly. That's kind of what we've all are coming to an ending about and figuring out. Are we? And I told you guys, if on a societal level we have decided, it doesn't mean somebody came out and said, we're not having this anymore. That's not what it means. It means energetically, we all talk to each other, even though we're not talking to each other. Energetically, we are talking to each other. If on a societal level we have decided that something needs to go, it will go. Okay, that's why I was saying these things are going to fall. Things that you didn't even think about, things that you thought were so in a structured foundation that it could never fall, will fall. They will fall. I don't know if you guys heard today, and I think this is. You guys can let me know. I'm not sure. I haven't backed this up with any evidence. This was just something that I heard, but you guys can let me know. So apparently the king, does he want to go to Germany? So he's moving his house to Germany, or he's moving where he's going to live to Germany? Because was that is that correct? Did anybody hear that? Oh, or it says you. I lived in Grants Pass for years. Oh, nice. Nice. So you know this area. Yeah. So it's called Asheville ski area. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna have to visit that. And I hope it's not too close because I'll be up there all the time. Eventually, like Oren, you and Polly already know, all y'all know about me looking for land. So I'm looking for it in Newport, and I may have found some that's like really, like, it's kind of what we're looking for. So we're gonna see. But that would be wonderful. Yeah, I dodged the force field. Is that a bad thing? You have to dodge them? I love the forest. I love the mountains. I love the forest. I love the snow. Um, Yeah. Yay for your find. Yeah. 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 It's going. It's getting there. Capricorns do two drinks. Yeah. Actually, that is true. My husband used to do that. My late husband. Um, yeah, so here's the thing. The mountains always called me. They've always called me. Um, I've been under, so I kind of understand why they call me because I had one life where we'll talk about that later. But anyway, the mountains always call me. I love hiking. I love skiing. I love being in the mountains. I could like be in the mountains forever. But for some reason, I have to live by water. Like it doesn't make any sense. Actually, it does make sense of one of the lives that I've lived where the water was right there and mountains were right next to it, right? So it's like I have to have the mountains and I have to have the ocean, the water, some big body of water, right? So Ellen says Ashland, Oregon is where Shining Hand Ranch is. Oh, okay. My fairy tale dream home on 700-ish acres. That's right. I think you said that before. I love the mountain life. Yeah. Like I could stay. I have to be, so I already know I have to be where there's mountains, cliffs, at least. There's got to be cliffs, mountains. It's got to be mountainous. I got to be able to go to the mountain in 30 minutes. I mean, that's what I loved about San Diego is, I mean, that's why we lived there for so long. I had the water right there and then 30 minutes 45 minutes in and I was in snow, you know? So, I mean, that's an easy trek. We can do that. And I mean, I think you can do the same thing here. Haven't done it yet because I haven't lived here long enough, but thank you guys for telling me where to go because I'm going. I'm going to go look. And now, this is why I love autumn and winter because it gets darker quicker. So I can go out and I can see and I can like explore, right? So I'm definitely going to go to those places and see. Thank you guys for letting me know. Uh, she said, Ellen says, just need $6 million to buy it. Anyone got some extra cash? We will. We're going to have extra cash. Absolutely. Not a big deal. Rogue River is perfect. Mountains and a great wild river to the Pacific. Ooh. Or, and you know, so Chance, it sounds like you know exactly what I'm wanting. That sounds great. You would love Canada. Yeah. So, my late husband's family, is British Columbia, from British Columbia, from BC. A beautiful, beautiful area. So, yeah, I know. I love Canada. Yeah. But I mean, America's beautiful too. Just like where I'm at, the Pacific Northwest is gorgeous, gorgeous, just gorgeous. But so is the East Coast. Like this whole country is beautiful. You know, I mean, I may not like the dirt and the sand but Utah is gorgeous. Like there's so many places. The North Carolina, the mountains, like it's just gorgeous all over this country. I've been all over this country several times. Um, when I was writing my book, I was in New Mexico for months and months and months. You know, I mean, like I stayed in different places. So, by the way, I have not put that book together to even publish it. So, that's sweet. Yeah, mountains and water, they are life. Now, if I could just afford a place like that in the US that didn't have too much snow. Yeah, I don't mind the snow. I love the snow. Yeah, I don't mind the snow. I love the snow. But everybody's different. So right now at this point, I'm looking at Newport, and I think I found some land in Newport, and I know with all of y'all's help, just watching, subscribing, sharing, tapping the like, having private readings with me when I start the membership, you know, subscribing to the membership. all of that's going to help us get this place because we're going to get this place. It's just a matter of time, right? I was thinking it was going to be a longer time. It doesn't look like it may be a longer time. It may be a shorter time, right? So anyway, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for letting me yap at you and translate, and just thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, right? And when we get this place, you guys all can come. Grew up in Bar Harbor, Maine, right? Lived in Connecticut for 20 years. I have had my fill of snow. Cool. We live in Angel Fire, New Mexico. Mexico's gorgeous. We owned a restaurant there. Wow. So exciting. I know. I can't wait, right, Kathy? Cannot wait. But we're going to do this right. This is the Aquarius. This is the Pluto and Aquarius groups. How we're going to do this. What are we going to do in society? The name that's come up so far for this place is called A Soft Place to Land, right? We want to be that place where people are searching, where people have never gotten to have a soft place to land, where there's understanding, where there's education, where there is alignment, right, of the things that we all do and talk about, right? There's going to be programs in there for, I don't even know if I want to say all that yet. Anyway, like I said, hey, Kathy, like I'd said before, when we talked about the Medicineless Hospital, and I gave you guys the link to go watch the Medicineless Hospital and those types of practitioners and those types of people and just people. And I say those types because that's you guys. That's a lot of, I know like Ellen and is newer, but like those that have been with me for a long time and have learned from me and have studied on their own practices, have gone and done their own schooling, right? We're going to have that there where people, I don't know how to explain it, where people are going to align with themselves, right? So Ellen says, sleep well, all, and sweet dreams. Always relaxing to spend time with you all. Great energy. Everyone feels more at ease tonight. See y'all soon. Yeah, they do. Thanks, Ellen. We also had a shop in Corpus Christi, Texas, named Shadow Walker. Nice. I was just in Corpus 2 years ago? A year ago? Yeah. Because I have family down there. I have family everywhere in Texas. Nighty night to you. Night, Ellen. Good night, says Lauren. Okay, so now that we talked a little bit, let's talk about these houses and what does Pluto transiting in that particular house mean? So I would advise you guys to pull up your natal chart. You don't have to do that right now. You can right now if you want, but you don't have to, right? But I would check to see where Capricorn was in your chart, what house, and then Aquarius is going to be the next one, right? So wherever Capricorn is, Aquarius is the next one. So let's just say, look like here, right? Capricorn is in the 4th house, so we know Aquarius is going to be in the 5th, right? So what you're going to do, if you want to listen to this back, is you're going to want to see, how have I transformed in that 4th house? And what is the ending of that? What's my transformation? And then what's coming in the next 20 years that I'm going to be dealing with, right? So that's the way that I would look at it. So like Kathy, 2nd house Capricorn. So here on this chart, it's in the 4th house, but we're going to pretend that we have Kathy's chart and it says Capricorn right here. So if Capricorn is her 2nd house, her transformation has been about her self-worth, right? I was about to say something. I can't say that. Her transformation is about being resourceful. Her transformation is about how she earns her money. Her transformation, and this is a 16 years she has been Pluto has been messing with her, pulling people. Kathy, your husband passed during this time, right? Is that correct? Like her, she had to learn her resourcefulness. Yep. So like she had this stable thing. She had this stable relationship. And even though her seventh house doesn't have Pluto, her second house, where she was learning her resourcefulness, she was learning her worthiness, she was learning these things. And be, the way that Pluto did it was to take things from her, take people from her, take situations from her, until she learned to step in her power and understand how powerful she was, and understand and transformed all of that. That has been going on for her in the last 16 years. Sorry, Kathy, I'm like picking on you, but I'm not picking on you. Yeah, yeah. She's been through it. All of you guys have been through it. Now, and she's ending it. She's coming to understand her self-worth. She's coming to understand her resourcefulness. Like all of this is the ending of that, right? She's coming to understand that she may have leaned on a system too much, or leaned on someone too much, or leaned on an idea too much, right? Because that's what she was taught, because that's where she came from, because that's how she had other lives about that, right? So now that that's being transformed, and she is transforming it. Not everybody transforms their Pluto, but she has. And I know this because I'm working with her, right? She has. She's looking at it. She understands it. She's transforming it. Now that she's done that, she is moving into the third house. Pluto is going to be in her third house of the way that we process things, communicate things. Am I good? Am I a good communicator? Do I say too much? Do I not say enough? Do I allow people to go over my boundaries saying too much? Do I not allow them to do enough? She will be working with this. She will be working with, neighbors, her everyday, her children, right? This is all going to be transformed over the next 20 years. But it doesn't have the same theme as Capricorn. Capricorn was about systems and authorities and structures. Aquarius is about forward thinking, grouping, and humanitarian issues. It's a different theme. Even though we're bringing some systems into Aquarius, it's a different theme, right? So it's not going to play out like it played out in her second house. It's going to play out different because it's expressing in a different way. Does that make sense to everybody? Polly says, sending each of you here peace, happiness, joy, and great love. Yeah, all of you. All of you. Even you, Polly, and you, Chance. All of you. Even you, Kiki. All of you. All of you deserve that. Right? So, let's talk about this first house. So, if Pluto was in your first house, like if you were Capricorn rising, it was in your first house, right? So if it was in your first house, this had to do with an identity crisis, right? Over the last 16 years, we talked about it. People were gone. You had to come to understand that there was power struggles that were going on with you for the last 16 years. You had identity crisis. Who am I? Why am I? What is going on here? This world doesn't look right, right? Did you, and again, because not everybody will transform their Pluto. That's why Pluto takes lifetimes to transform. But that does not mean, and I've said this over and over in my other videos in the Pluto series, just because Pluto takes lifetimes to transform does not mean that it is not this lifetime that you're actually going to transform it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Pluto is like the evil helper. Yeah, exactly. So, if it was in your first house, if you're Capricorn rising, it was in your first house. What I want you to ask is, did you understand your power? Did you understand who you are? Did you learn to find it, whatever was happening, nobody was coming to save you? Did you understand that that came from you? Did you understand that you finally were like, you know what? Nobody's coming to save me. Nobody cares. Nobody's looking. Nobody even understands how to do this. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to get mad enough, and mad enough, not mad enough, mad enough. And I don't want to sit here anymore waiting for somebody to save me when I can save myself. That is what the first house was about, right? And because it was about that, Pluto, that's transforming your Pluto in the first house. Did you step into your power? Did you understand that all of what you needed was from within you all along? That's the first house. Now, if you did that, Capricorn, because some Capricorn are stubborn, if you've done that, we still have time. Pluto hasn't moved into Aquarius yet, so you still have time. But if you understand that you are moving for the next 20 years into the second house, okay? And that has to do with what I said Kathy's had to deal with, okay? I am resourceful. I am worthy. I do matter. Even if I'm one person in a group of 23,000, I still matter. My energy is here on this earth, and I'm taking my place. That is what the second house is about. Again, it's going to express it a different way because it is not Capricorn energy. It is Aquarius energy. Does that make sense? Hi, Dora. Does that make sense? Okay. The second house. The first house, you Capricorns also, when you go from the first house to the second house, the first house has made you the lone wolf. Understanding that I am alone. I am going to do it by myself. I did pull myself out of this. I did understand. I do blah, blah, blah. Right? And you become this lone wolf. Okay? When you move into the second house, it is time to integrate that lone wolf. Because the wolf does have a pack. He's just been alone for a while to transform. Does that make sense? So, it's going to be time to integrate back into society, integrate back into groups, integrate back into... So what you're going to find some of this time is that there actually are people that are going to come want to help you, right? And then you get to decide, because you've already been through this, of, I don't need anybody's help. I kind of did it on my own. I kind of know, but I'd like to do it with somebody, right? Does that make sense? So that's the second house. So understand, anybody that is, so Capricorn rising would mean Aquarius is your second house, which would mean Pluto, how does he do it? He's going to take resources. He is going to take money. He is going to take your power in those things. He is going to make you obsessed about figuring out certain things in that area of your life, okay? But because he's going to make you afraid, fear, right? About the resources that you thought you had, that you thought you did in the first house in the last 16 years, right? So just remember, when you step into your power, you know who you are now. Step into that power. Understand. Just because the government says there's not enough food does not mean there's not enough food. There's plenty of food. There's plenty of land to grow food. Just because you live in an area where there's not a lot of land because you're in the city does not mean we're without. That's just a psychological fear that Pluto wants to put around us to help us get mad, step into our power, and say, no, fuck that. I'll just go figure it out, right? It's like that, right? So in the second house, just know Pluto is about fear, about obsession, about power plays, and about transformation, okay? So if any of those things are going on psychologically, where it makes you, like, you see something and it makes you freeze, just know that's Pluto, and that's a power play. And so what's the one thing that I've always told you guys if you've been with me for a long time? I've said this for a long time. It's the one thing that you're afraid to do or that you don't want to do. That is what you must do. That's me with my experience and Pluto. Pluto has been prominent in my life. You guys, Pluto has probably been prominent in your life. You just didn't realize it was Pluto. When in my life, I know when I can't see it and it makes me afraid and I don't want to do it, that is the thing that I do. I just jump and do it. And that opens up so much for me because it's a power play. I've learned that with Pluto, right? That's why I don't have a fear of many things because I've just jumped and done it. Is it easy? Hell, no, it's not easy. I'm scared sometimes. Just like when Lorna and I drove up here in the dark, in some snow, I'm not knowing where I'm going. It's not like I haven't done this country before, but I've got Lorna in there and I've got to make sure that she's okay and she's safe. And I have no idea what's opening up for me. I know that something's going to open up for me because that's been my life. If I jump when I'm scared, it opens up. That's Pluto. That makes sense? I face my fears. That's what Pluto wants. When you face your fears, he doesn't mess with you too much unless it's really something that you're like an underlying fear that you have that you didn't realize you have, right? So just know in these next 20 years, right now when you're dealing with Pluto, on a personal level, do not be afraid, because if you're afraid or if you lean too much on something, he is going to take that. He is going to bring your fear out. Okay? I'm an Aries rising, though, so I will just do it anyway. Exactly. Now, Aries rising, if you look, let's see, where is she? Where are you? I mean, I know Aries is right here, but I'm looking for, so, 12, 11, 10, right? So Aries, Pluto has been in your 10th house, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's been in your 10th house. He's about to go into your 11th house, right? And that's funny because the Aries that I'm seeing lately are seeing groups. Because remember, I just went through my 11th house Pluto, right? I went through my 11th house because I used Placidus. It was in my 12th house as well, right? So right now it's in my 12th house. Pluto is teaching me so much more deeper about the 12th house, right? Pluto will be in the 12th house in Aquarius for another 10 years. And then it's going to move into my first house in Aquarius, okay? But I just went through my 11th house, right? And so Aries will be dealing with that, like the 11th house, where am I in the right group? Who do I agree with those people in that group? What part do I play in that group? Do I even like this group? Or did I just attach myself to this group because they were the thing to do at the time? And the way around that, the way to do that, the way to grow through that is to understand you first. So you may have to step away from the group, like I did with YouTube. You have to step away from the group. I mean, I stepped away from research in my medical field, right? Those groups. I stepped away from the healthcare system and I decided I don't want that. But YouTube, I decided I did want, but I had to step away. I had to figure out who I was. I had to be very, very clear and then attract. So you 11th house Plutos are going to be 20 years of this, understanding this. Fear is going to come about. People doing you wrong in groups are going to be coming about because that's a Pluto power play, right? That's what's going to be on, with Aries. So just be aware, right? But let's go into the third house. So Third house. If Pluto is in your third house, if it was in your second house, it's over. You no longer have to get and understand your resourcefulness, your worthiness, your place in this world, how you're going to do things on a daily basis to make your money transactions, right? Then you're going to move into the third house where this is, again, the art form. We talked about this with Kathy. You're going to be learning the art form of communication. You're going to be learning the art form of grounding, right? It's interesting. I have to talk to you about this, Kathy, but sometimes we think we need to say stuff. How do I say this? Sometimes we're watching situations and we need, and I had to learn this, Virgo side, we think we need to say stuff when nobody's asked our opinion. Or we think because we're so close to the person that we can automatically say what we see is right. It's not like it's wrong, it's correct. But sometimes we forget there are ways to be able to say this, or maybe that we shouldn't say it at all so that they can kind of see it, unless they ask us for our opinion. That makes sense? Right. I have to leave my groups to go elsewhere and sacrifice my alone time. Oh, wow. I have been thinking about enemies in new social circles being an issue in the near future. Yeah. Kathy says, understand. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Anyway, you are going to be learning the art of communication over the next 20 years. And this is going to be really important for you specific, Kathy, because this group is really important, right? And so you understanding how to communicate with all different sorts of people and getting your voice out and being true, but holding true to your boundaries is an art form. You know, communication is an art form. It's not just you, blah, 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 blah. So it's interesting. Well, they're both not here. So I hate to say things about people that are not here that are actually in this group, but I'm going to say it because it's going to be helpful, right? There was a miscommunication the other night when one person did all caps, which we all kind of are like, whoa, that's all caps, right? Her communication, her way of communicating was very abrasive, abrupt, and the other one's communication is like, I will just handle it, right? Like, I'm just going to do what I need to do, right? But the other one got offensive or defensive, right? And so that's what I'm saying. It's an art form. I'm just bringing that out, not to say anybody was right or wrong, but just to say it's an art form. Communication is about listening. When somebody's speaking to you, you listen. You look them in the eye and you hear them, right? There's valuable information coming from them. And then you respond. Now, some people will not wait to respond and cut people off. Other people will just have diarrhea of the mouth and blah, 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 right? When nobody's asked them their opinion. So it's about boundaries. It's about the art form of listening. But it could be because maybe somewhere in the past you weren't allowed to say anything. Maybe somewhere in the past you were always cut off. Maybe somewhere in the past you cut people off, right? Gentle. Yeah. So that's going to be, and for where Kathy's going, it's going to be important for her. You can see it in her chart. It's going to be important for her to understand those ways. As a Virgo South node, just because you're right doesn't mean you need to say it. Just because you know that and see somebody at their utmost potential, but they don't see themselves, doesn't mean that you should tell them. Just because you see it very clearly doesn't mean you need to blurt it out to them and make them know that they're wrong. There's an art form to this. Does that make sense? right? Like Virgos are blessed with the knowledge of seeing you at your highest potential, at your best potential, right? They're blessed with that. That's their talent. However, sometimes they have no filter. And maybe it's not the right time. Maybe they're not there yet to understand. So it doesn't matter if you were to say it. They're not going to hear it anyway, because that's the art of communication. We're hearing, we're listening, and then we're also engaging. That makes sense? So that's the third house. That's what you're going to be working on. That's what people that have Pluto in the third house for Aquarius are going to be working on, right? And then the fourth house has to do with your most inner feeling, your DNA, your lineage, where you came from, how you really feel in regards to the DNA, and your innermost personality is what is going to be shown to you, what you're going to be working with. For some of you, it could be as light as, that's not even light, but it could be as, oh, you find out where your lineage is. You find out what your DNA is about. You find out, like, you're going to be dealing with this and in a very, I want to say autonomous way, because it's Aquarius, right? So, you're going to be understanding your inner self, which means Pluto is going to bring out your fears about this stuff. Pluto wants you to transform. He is going to bring, some of you get maybe for the next 20 years, maybe not the whole time, but get obsessed about certain things that have to do, certain themes that have to do with your family, that have to do with actual DNA, that have to do with your inner workings. Why do I feel this way? What is this about? Why have I always understood it this way and not this way? But my family is this way and I understand it this way. Like, all of that is going to be coming out over the next 20 years. Doesn't mean every day. It's a longer transit, right? But there will be fears about it. There will be obsession. There will be times where you're obsessed about it, right? It will come out in a very Aquarian way, a forward-thinking way, right? Does that make sense to everybody? That's the fourth house. Now, the fifth house is interesting. The fifth house is where Pluto is trying to transform you to understanding your happiness, your joy. How do you see romance? How do you see creativity? Can you create? Do you create? Do you want to create? What are you going to create? Right? And so Pluto is going to take some stuff from you, and he is going to put some fear in you, and he is going to make you obsess about certain things having to do with romance. So some of you may get really obsessed about dating and finding the right person. Some of you may get really obsessed about something that was a hobby, and it becomes like, oh, I want to do this for the rest of my life and nothing else, right? But there is going to be fear in there. He's going to pull that out because he wants you to step in your power. There are going to be power plays in this house, right? There are going to be power plays in the fourth house too, okay? There's power plays in all the houses, but I'm saying they're going to be kind of prominent in the fourth house and in the fifth house, right? You may find somebody that you like a lot, but then they're really domineering, and you're like, what the hell? I can't deal with that. You know, like, you may come to those phases over the next 20 years. They may be really eccentric, or you may become really eccentric, because that is Aquarius, right? That is all going to be transiting. That's what it's to transform you so that you understand that you can create and what you want to create, as well as what brings you happiness and joy. What type of romance do you want? Even if you're married. Especially if you're married, you should have romance, right? So, love affairs. Your children could be involved in this fifth house. Does that make sense? What's a filter? Kathy says, what's a filter? Exactly. The sixth house. You sixth house people need to be working with me over the next 20 years, right? Let's not let it take 20 years. But you sixth house people, it is going to be. So if Pluto is transformed, if you've been in the fifth house in Capricorn and now it's going to move to sixth house Aquarius, Pluto for you, whoever, this is about your health and your well-being. So this has to do with your body, your mind, your soul coming together and how you work this every day. Am I tied so closely with my emotions that my emotions run my life and my body is suffering? That is a lot of you. Okay? Am I putting into practice the things that I love? Like for me, I love working out, right? For other people, you know, they may love tennis or they may love golf or they're like, oh, I'm too busy, I can't do it. No. In the sixth house, Pluto will take that stuff away. Pluto will take your health away. Pluto will take that stuff away to make you step into your power, to transform this house to be in balance, to have the connection with your body, your mind, and your soul. Also, if you're in this house and you're already doing that stuff, it could be a transformation of understanding more of what your body can do. Does that make sense? You know how I was talking to you guys and we played the game about the weather and how I talked to you guys about how, you know, objects can be moved with our mind and all that stuff that I'm going to teach you guys. Like that's sixth house stuff too. Once you get over that basic, like that's what I told you guys. I'd have to go back into training because I haven't even worked out in the last 6 months. Last year, I got to work out. I got to start working out. Right? But that's that sixth house. Pluto will bring your fears up in it. Bring obsessions up in it. Some of you may be like I used to be. Where you work out like 4 hours a day, every day for decades and decades and decades, right? So, like, that could become an obsession. Things like that, okay? That's going to be coming up for you sixth house people. But the great thing is if you're already balanced in it, you get to do that extra stuff. And it's not like you others don't get to do it. I'm just saying that's going to be prominent for you in the next. But it's Pluto. So he's going to bring up your fear. He wants you to see your power and take it back. That makes sense? He wants you to transform. Okay? He doesn't do it in the nicest way, but he does get his job done. Right? But we always, always have free will. Okay? So, that's the sixth house. You seventh house. I have not done the Pluto series in the seventh house. That is a deep, deep house because Pluto is in the seventh house in my chart. Okay? That has to do with powerful relationships. What is your power in relationships? Are you the one that's being domineering? Are there very powerful people that are domineering you? How is this power play going out? Are you dealing with abandonment? Have you trusted somebody so deeply that they abandoned you, that they never wanted you? Horrible situations, right? That is this obsession. This is where your open enemies are, right? Some people have mothers and fathers who never wanted them, right? This is seventh house Pluto stuff, right? Like that's, I haven't done seventh house again because it is deep. And I wasn't ready. So I had to channel that stuff and I'm like, oh God, I have to not only understand that about myself, but I had to tell you guys too, right? So, seventh house Pluto, there is going to be understanding about powerful relationships, your power in a relationship, whether that is love, personal and love, whether that is business, all types of relationships. Understanding your power. Getting obsessed. You may get obsessed with somebody, or you may have somebody get obsessed with you. There's obsessions in here, right? There are enemies in here, but they're enemies that you can see, okay? By that, that's what I meant. Like, some people have mothers that never loved them, or fathers that never loved them. That's seventh house Pluto stuff. That's like, what did I do? I didn't do anything. It's people that have abandoned you, people that you trusted so deeply and just wanted to love, that have totally misrepresented themselves and walked away or abandoned you or did something to you, right? Maybe like child abuse is in here. Okay. Now the transit may not be that for everybody. This is mainly natal stuff, but the transit has to do with the power plays, with the obsessions, with the enemies, with the transformation of you stepping into your power, understanding who you are, having your boundaries, accepting your part in a relationship. Does that make sense? Accepting and understanding what types of relationships you want, right? All that will be going on for the next 20 years, right? And because it's Aquarius, it's going to be very different. It is not going to look normal. It's just not. Especially relationships. They're not going to look normal, okay? Like, I'll give you an example. There were two people that I knew growing up, and they got married but lived in separate houses. Now, I'm from Texas, where that wasn't a normal thing back then. But I was like, I don't understand why they live in two houses. They're married. They should be living in one house. This is just an example, right? It's going to look like that, where you're like, what? They're married. Why would they live in different houses? Of course, now we understand why people would live in different houses. But that it's going to look like that. It's going to look very different. It's not going to look normal. It's not going to look like we've had it before, okay? That's all seventh house relationships that are going to be going on, okay? Then we have eighth house. This is contractual stuff. This is the stuff where you're like, okay, is it balanced? Pluto will take things away from you. Contracts will be taken away, right? Transfers of wealth will be happening, okay? Whether it's from them to you or you to them. Transfers of wealth could be happening. Pluto is going to bring up those obsessions. He's going to bring up, it's like you're trying to figure out, did I make this right contract? Did I do the right thing? Oh my God, I'm so abundant now. I did the right thing, right? Queen of Diamonds, man, Four of Clubs, woman. And they said it wouldn't work 41 years later. Exactly. Exactly. Right? I had to embody Saturn to transform that family curse. Yeah. So, eighth house. There could be fraudulent things going on. If your eighth house, if you have Pluto in the eighth house, check, check, check. Like, if you're entering a contract, be sure to do your due diligence, okay? If you don't have Pluto in the eighth house, always do your due diligence. But I'm saying even more so that your eighth house is activated, because this is where scammers and frauds can come in for you too, okay? Just like the 12th house, the hidden enemies, right? Pluto's in my 12th house. I am very, very aware that there are hidden enemies, that there are people that don't like me, that there are people that want to cause me harm, right? I'm very aware of that. So if I work with anybody, I make sure. It's the same thing with the 8th house. Could be scammers, could be frauds, could be whatever, right? Why is that? Because Pluto is trying to help you step into your power. He is going to help. He's going to make you fear. He's going to make you obsessed. Okay? 9th house transits. This is your belief systems. Pluto is going to work on your belief systems, your understanding. What you thought you knew, now you don't. What you thought you had a clear understanding about, no you don't. What you thought it was the way it was supposed to be, no it ain't. Belief systems, philosophy. Grandchildren are also in here in this house, okay? Power struggles. No, I'm right. What does religion do all the time? No, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, let's go to war because I'm right. Let's go to war because I'm right. Right? It's like that. That's the 9th house. Power plays, power struggles. Okay? Over the next 20 years. You're going to be transforming that. You're going to be understanding. The occult is in here. So astrology, learning astrology, right? Maybe it's that you're learning it and you can't find the right teacher, or that you want to learn it but you can't get it yet, right? And I'm just talking about astrology, but it could be any of the modalities, right? The healing, it's like, I know I should be healing. I don't know how to do it. And I got to figure out the right person. Like, all that is going to be activated. There's going to be obsession in there. There's going to be fear, but there's going to be transformation because you're going to step into your power. Okay? That's the 9th house. The 10th house. The 10th house transit. There are big power plays in here, and there's a lot of fear in here. Okay? This has to do with your legacy. What am I going to leave? What do I want to leave? How do I want to leave this world? What do I want to create? And show what do I have within me to be able to create and leave my legacy? What is it that I want to leave? Do I want to leave a system that's broken? Do I want to leave a system that I believed in, that I know now is broken? Or do I want to create and help create something better for humanity? There's going to be a desire within you for the next 20 years that is going to formulate something so that you can leave your legacy. But there are going to be power plays in here. Okay? So your question is going to be also, did I get to do what I really want? Or have I always been stifled? Or have I always been not paid attention to? Or people just thought I was crazy? That, especially in Aquarius, is not going to look crazy. It's going to be accepted. But you're going to have that too. Those people that have Pluto transiting their 10th house. Did I ever really get to do what I really wanted to do? Or did I do what the system, Capricorn, wanted me to do? That is going to be this power play going on over the next 20 years. And since I didn't get to do it, am I going to do it now? What is it that the legacy that I'm going to leave? Okay. The 11th house we've already explained. I talked about that. You're learning your self-identity, and then you're learning what groups you want to be in, understanding that, yes, you can do it alone, but no, we didn't come here to do it alone. Okay? But I got to have the right groups that I trust, that my ideals match with their ideals, and we can move forward and create some great things. Okay, that's the 11th house. There's going to be power plays in there. You might get into a group and then the group's gone. You might get into a group and then there's some fear about, am I really part of this? How come I feel like I'm still on the outside? Understanding that because for some of the groups, it has nothing to do with the group. It has to do with you. You've never let your walls down. You've never checked in with yourself. Does that make sense? You've never understood a different way. Okay? This is all going to be going on for the 11th house Pluto for the next 20 years. And that is Aquarius. That's Aquarius's original house is the 11th house, right? So it doesn't just have to do with groups. It has to do with networking. It has to do with the internet. It has to do with AI, right? You might be learning easier AI, right? So then we have the 12th house. The 12th house is over the next 20 years, understanding and putting some boundaries down where you hadn't before. Okay? This is the house that is open to all of the universe. And you have to have some boundaries in this house. There are hidden enemies in this house. That's what I'm saying. That's why I check and recheck and recheck with whoever I'm going to be dealing with, right? It's not an obsession, but it's like, yeah, I got to make sure. If I don't know somebody, I got to make sure, right? Because my 12th house is activated. So in here is where you're going to learn the boundaries that you want, the safe ones that you need around you. This is also about implementing your spiritual practices, the things that you see from the other realms, from the other dimensions, the things that you see in your head, the things that you dream about. It's like putting those into spiritual practice. I mean, you don't have to call it spiritual practices, but that's kind of the way to say it. Putting into practice those things like I'm doing. I'm making sure I'm balancing. I meditate. I haven't completely put all the practices in because I haven't started working out, but I'm working on that, right? So meditation, I just got through telling you guys I have to like start training again. Not learning, but training on moving things, training on the weather, training on blah, 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 right? It's like actually putting those things into place for you here. That's the 12th house. Taking your spiritual practices, deciding which ones, and then putting them into place in your life, right? That's the 12th house. That's understanding the things from no boundaries to making boundaries, right? Bringing it in. Am I taking care of myself? Am I doing the right thing by others in this group, right? What ends up happening is you'll end up becoming the magician, which is like just what I told you. Bending spoons, moving objects, moving the weather, moving the tree out there. Like it takes practice. And that's what the 12th house being activated is about. Putting those spiritual practices, making them active and putting them into play. That makes sense? Yeah. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions about that? Anybody have any questions about Pluto? I am in this live. I've attached the playlist for Pluto. So, you guys will be able to see this. I tried to move the TV remote to my hand. I'm thinking, what? So remember that we are spiritual beings, right? So I'll give you this clue. Remember that we are spiritual beings, right? No, take the spiritual out of it. Remember that we are energetic beings, okay? And we had to, I gave you guys a clue the other day when I said we have to be dense to come down here into this dense realm and work in this dense realm. So if there's an object, like she said, her remote, you want to be dense. You don't want to be, you want the frequency more dense instead of less dense. Does that make sense? Freaks people out. Yeah. It used to freak people out. It is what it is. We can move things with our mind. I know that sounds crazy when I say it, but we can. You just have to resonate at that frequency, right? And like I said, just like we have been proven, it's already been proven that when you resonate at a certain frequency, other people want to resonate at that frequency, right? The ones that stick around, right? So if that's a remote, then find the frequency of the remote. Well, Cindy, how do I find the frequency of a remote? There's a couple of ways. You can ask your guides to help you feel what that frequency is, then get on that frequency, understand that you're one with that. There is no separation but the illusion, and then move it. That's it. Yeah, more heavy. Doubt kept creeping in my mind. Brr. No, that's true. It's true. I know. I know it can freak people out. But we're moving into a space where it's not going to freak people. I'm telling you, Aquarius energy is very strange. Okay? It's not demons or bad or whatever. And it's not even simple science. There's science there. It just has to do with frequency. All of this is an illusion that we're separate. We're not really separate. When you actually think you're walking and moving, you're not. You have never left where you are. It's an illusion. When you can grasp that. This is what I'm going to be showing you guys and teaching you guys, because it's a bigger thing. I have to help you understand like all of it, right? So I'm just giving you a clue since you tried it, right? Jediism, yes, exactly, Chance. Jedi. Exactly. You can do it all the time. I've been doing it for, I don't know, so little. You can do it. Everybody can do it. Anybody can do it. You just have to have the uh, remembrance. So when I'm teaching you this knowledge, I'm not really teaching you. You're just remembering. So you can do anything, right? Um, which is what my work is. Like I want to show you guys so that you can see that you can do anything. It's not easy because this illusion seems real, right? And it is real in certain aspects. I mean, it kind of depends on how you. That's a whole other thing I don't even want to get into. Just know, I was giving her a clue since she's trying it, right? So you want to be dense. Your vibration wants to be dense. It needs to be the frequency that that remote is, right? And we, as humans, will naturally gravitate to a frequency. How do we do that? Remember, emotion, right? And it doesn't matter whether the emotion's love or hate or anxiety or whatever. Just use it, right? So, Tina, my whole life I felt like I should be able to, but never succeeded. Yeah, like I said, because you can. I'm just going to remind you. That's all. I'm not really teaching y'all. I'm just like putting A, B, and C together and then reminding you, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah. I mean, you just already naturally know how to do it. I'm just here to translate. That's what I do. I translate. I translate. I'm the translator. So I translate languages. I translate image. I translate concepts. I translate perceptions, right? Uh, reality is highly overrated. The illusions are so real. I know, right? So real. Okay. Again, we'll have stuff like this on my membership. I can do it on my membership, but on YouTube, I'm probably not going to do much of that. Unless y'all ask a question, then yeah, I'm willing to give you the answer. But again, sometimes I can give you an answer and you're like, I don't even understand what the hell she just said. That would be what our place is going to be about, and that would be like what's going to be in the mediumship in the membership, so that we can have these really deep talks. It's not like we don't have deep talks now. It's like y'all think I go deep now. I can go deeper. I can go deeper. So that's why you're the teacher. Exactly. Exactly. Trust me, when I say I can go deeper, it doesn't mean that I am not doing my best here. It's just that um, there's such depth to us. There's really a lot of depth here. It's because of you guys that I can go as deep as I can go in these lives because I know you. There's depth in there. I've always known you, right? And you've always known me. There's depth in there, and I can translate that. I used to say it this way: when somebody comes in front of me, I'm only going to see what you want me to see. I'm not going to intrude. I'm only going to go as deep as you allow me to go. It's just like when Chance was asking me a question last night, and you guys heard me. I was like, It's because I'm asking him energetically, how deep can I go? What are you going to allow me to see? He may not consciously know that, but that's what I'm doing, right? Anytime I'm working with anybody, um, I'm not one to like intrude. I'm going to ask. I'm going to feel. I'm going to like, and I'll only go because I do not want to go over boundaries, anybody's boundaries. I'll only go as deep as you'll let me. With you guys let me go really deep. That's why I'm able to do it because of you guys. 7 mystery schools. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Kathy says it's like peeling an onion. Yep. Polly said, "Oh, he knew." Yeah, I'm pretty sure he knew. I'm describing it in general. I know both of you guys are really, really aware, really, really old souls, are really, really conscious. I know that. Um, Mars in the 12th house. Yes, missed that. Yes, Cindy was there when I used to do all that stuff. That's right, Cindy. I forgot about that. Those are also the Periscope days. Let's get metaphysical. I think Olivia Newton-John sang it. Yeah, so Olivia Newton-John sings another song that I love. What was this? I have to find it. Oh gosh, what song? I love all her songs. So I'm just trying to think of the song. When I hear the song, it's about to me, it's about your higher self talking to you. So, love the dance. Yeah, let's get metaphysical. Let's get physical. uh, I cannot wait till we can all gather together. That is gonna be so cool. That is gonna be so cool. And here's the thing: not everybody's here. I love Xanadu. Oh my god, I was so in love with Xanadu when it came out because it was like one of the few things that my parents were very strict, so it was one of the few things that I was allowed to watch, and I loved it. Yeah, let's get physical, physical. Oh, I love it. So I think that's all. Like the other day, I was thinking about I was gonna edit one of our lives down, but they're so good that the only parts I'm editing down are like the pauses. So I'm like, I'm leaving this in. I'm leaving this in. And I know that when I release a video, people just want that specific thing. Like tonight, we're talking about Pluto. They're only going to want the Pluto in the houses, right? When it's a video. But I'm like, there's so much other stuff that I don't want to cut out because people could learn so much from you guys and from us, from all of us, right? Let's see. Now I have to listen to some, right? I know I'm thinking I'm going to listen to it tonight too. So Chance says, I really struggle to remain pertinent. Hey, okay, energy is my master. Yeah. Is pertinent the word that you wanted to say? You really struggle to say pertinent? You really struggle to remain pertinent? And here's the thing when I'm working with people too. It's like last night when I was trying to explain the weather stuff to you guys and how to change it, how to move it, how to do it, right? But then I could feel people like attaching like, "Oh, let me make sure I do it right." And I'm like, "No. Make it a game. Let's just play a game. Like just make it a game. Make it a game." So when you're wanting to move an object, I'll give you guys this tidbit too. When you're wanting to move an object, when you're wanting to change, when you're wanting to do these phenomenal things that people think are just crazy, right? Then go in there and just play a game. Just play a game with it. Just make it a game that releases the energy. It helps it flow better, and you're having fun with it, which is the right energy. Does that make sense? The Lakota sacred clown medicine man. Yeah. Oh, okay. Gotcha. He's referring to native terms. Gotcha. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Oh, you can hear the train. Yeah. Now that I have this boost, I don't even know what it is. Equalizer boost. I have no idea. David just said this is what you need, so that's what I got. And I didn't even look at what it said it was. He just sent it over, and that's what I said. That's what I ordered. Anyway, I'm sure that you guys can hear that now. I do have a really good mic. Like I said, I have a professional mic, but I'm not a professional, so I don't even know. Thank God for David. I don't even know. Um, yeah. So you guys don't be too hard on yourselves when you're training to do this stuff. And plus, you guys are here. We're not going anywhere. We got a lot of things to come. We got a lot of things that are going to come about. We are going into very Aquarian energy, right? So you guys are going to learn this stuff. I'm going to teach it to you. We're gonna do it together. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have games. We're gonna play games. Bad ears. Yeah. I know, and they're being loud actually. I'm not sure. And they don't have any like one. I know trains are supposed to have schedules, but I've been trying to figure out their schedule, and I can't figure out their schedule. So I don't know if it's I may just be missing it. I don't know. I'm Native American, so he is referring to my background. Oh, gotcha. Baths in dirt, rides horses backwards. It has a hard path, right? You're welcome, Kathy. You're welcome. All right, guys. Well, if nobody has any questions about Pluto, and I'm kind of glad we did it this way because now everybody's going to know the transits. And I'm probably going to do the rest of the Pluto series on lives, like separate. But yeah, because it turned out pretty good tonight. So I was kind of testing it out doing the transits, but I did want to revisit Pluto because, like I said, we don't want to ignore Pluto. We never want to ignore Pluto. Um, we want to pay attention to him. And now that he's going direct, no, it was this time. It did it last time. Oh, it did. Okay. Thank you, Cindy, says Polly. You're so welcome. So I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.